Yo guys, what's up? Hope you're having an awesome day or night on whatever the time zone is for you guys. Uh, I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as well. Let me know the people who are jumping on live right now. Use hashtag live. If you're probably gonna be jumping on replay, gonna use hashtag replay out there. I can see a lot of comments out there. Hey, live, blah, blah, ready, excited, and ready to burn the midnight oil. It's 11:30 p.m. here in India. Hey, Provoker, what's up, bro? 11:45. Awesome, awesome. It's 11 p.m. on my side. So, okay, here's the thing, guys. I see a lot of people out there who've done the implementation for the very first day of the challenge, the homework, and for me, honestly, I've been blown away of the fast implementation that you guys did, and I really hope that you guys have understood the concept of who is your dream guest initially with those three particular things, which is initially comes up with this alignment part and being ethical and all of those other things that we mentioned in general, so that you get the clarity out of it and it make things clear. Okay, achievement, alignment, and being ethical is the only way in order to go in and find your dream guest. So so yeah, that's the main thing. So I hope it made you guys clear. Okay, so I guess like that's because you ask us. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So okay, so what we're gonna talk about today is actually, let me share my screen first so that we can talk about it. And I see like some people are jumping on. We gotta wait probably for a minute or so, but let me add this in on the screen. uh so until now, like some people joined up. Let us do a bit recap. So there were some people out there who joined challenge probably today. So just to do a little bit of a recap so that people get an idea like what were the things we were talking about. So just a recap. Okay, so yesterday in our first day of our challenge, we talked about AAE method, which is actually who achieved what you want to achieve, which is achievement, the alignment, like who is aligned to the things you want to align, and who is ethical. So these are the three initial things that were initially the part of the whole concept of how to find your dream guest. I'm gonna say like love the jacket. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Truly appreciate it. Everyone loving the jacket, by the all of them. Okay, so these were the three things we talked about: how to find your dream guest. We also mentioned that not everyone is your dream guest. It doesn't matter how much successful they are. Okay, for some people, if successful is their only criteria for booking their dream guest, that's fine. If you kind of like narrow it down to more like in terms of more alignment and plus like being ethical, you are filtering it down even more. It all solely depends upon you. What are the filters that you applying? If that's only achievement, okay, you're still good to go, because that is the type of person you're booking on the show. So it's actually depending upon you or what type of people out there that you want to book on the show. So that was just something we talked about yesterday, that not everyone is your dream guest. Okay, so we also mentioned the connections of your dream guest is also your dream guest. This is something out there that is super important that we mentioned in referrals, that you will gonna have a flood of your dream guest, and it's never gonna end. It's not gonna be like, oh, I've already interviewed 10 people, now I don't know who I should interview. If you've interviewed your dream guest, they can get you a ton of dream guests as well. So that's what we mentioned yesterday, that the connections of your dream guest is also your dream guest. And also, we talked about always reach out to your guests around the purpose of your show. And this is actually something out there we're going to talk about today, which is actually the purpose of the show, which is the day two itself. So, who's excited for the day two? Let me know. Let me know, guys. Like, who's excited for the day two right now? I can see like someone said, Jeffrey said like he's a jacket man. I should add that. Okay. Okay. So connection of your dream guest are also your dream guest. Yep, 100%. That's the thing that's important. So, okay, let's dive in and let's talk about the day two and dive into the stuff, which is again implementation. I want you guys to implement like super fast steroids, but positively. Okay, okay. So let's go to the screen. Okay, day two, setting up your show structure. Okay, which is probably like just setting up your show purpose, you could say. Okay, we're going to talk about each and everything around setting up your show structure, which are some things which are super important for you guys to understand after you got clarity about who your dream guest is. There's a next step is also a crucial step, and people get procrastinated. People don't spend time on that. So the things we're going to clear about today is actually your show name. What's going to be your show name initially, your show intent, what is the intention behind your show, or you could say your show purpose, And the third thing is going to be your show tagline. Of if someone going to ask you what's your show is all about, how are you going to explain it? It could be anyone. Now, it could be a person that you're trying to reach out for, and they're like, "Hey, what's your show is all about? Who your target audience is?" All of those things, we're going to get these things clear, and obviously we're going to give you guys homework to get that thing done before our next day. Okay, so and your show cover art as well, that's also important. I want you guys to get all of these things done in the next 5 days, so you're ready to launch, ready to book your first guest, and ready to be in that particular momentum, so that you can get massive connections, massive flow of traffic, and also revenue as well. 100%, that's also kind of the end goal. Okay, so let's talk about the show name. Okay, there are few things out there that you have to understand when we think about show name. There are so many aspects come up into show name, but if you notice in some certain way, for some people it makes sense, for some people it's not. So let me talk about what I'm talking about right now. So your show name, there are multiple methods for you actually to go and do it. Number one is like creating a separate brand. Okay, you could create a separate brand that could be the part of your main personal brand or main your identity, but it is something that is separate. Okay, one of the best example that I should give you around that is, let's talk about ClickFunnels. Okay, like if Russell Brunson built his podcast, which is the Marketing Secrets podcast, he didn't create it with something like the Russell Brunson show, okay, or something like that to it. He have his own personal brand, but the type of content or type of assets, the digital assets he built in the space, are not something are absolutely not something that is on his particular name. That's the second point. Like, you can either create something as a separate brand name, or you can have it on your personal name, which for me, I don't recommend it at all. And I'm going to talk about why that is. So I was talking about the example of Russell Brunson initially. If you see any of the things that Russell have, apart from Russell Brunson's inner circle, okay, that is something that is personal to him. Apart from that, any piece of digital asset, if you see that Russell owned in the space, if it's a software, it's a product, it's a course, nothing is named beside him, or like because of him or on him. His show name is Marketing Secrets. His courses were like, it wasn't like Russell One Funnel Away Challenge or Russell Secrets. None of his digital asset was named on him, because if that is something that named on that particular person, it just get bound. You have a positive advantage for that, but you have a lot of disadvantage for that. And if you Russell talked about it a lot, and we're going to give that particular example for you guys as well. So that is something that is a separate brand name. So for me, it's like my show name is Interviews with Entrepreneurs. Or for example, I have a software, it's called Friend Funnels. I have a different programs. None of those programs or none of those digital assets are on my name. It is relatable to me, but it's not on my name. For example, if I want to sell it out, or if I want to exit from that project, it's easy for me to do it because I'm not the person who's assigned to do that. For Apple, Steve Jobs was the personal brand, but it wasn't, the company wasn't like Steve Jobs Inc. or Steve Wozniak Inc. or Steve Inc., even though both of them were Steve. Okay. So like this is something out there. Okay. I can say, okay, is the video and audio getting stuck, or is it just for me? For me as well. Okay, so yeah, guys, like let me know if the audio and everything is clear. Like let me know in the chat. I see like some people out there that said they have feeling like they have audio or video issues. Let me know so I can also have a look. Yep, let me know in the chat. Okay, it's clear. So create a separate brand or your personal name. Okay, not recommended. One of the common example, if you notice, so one of the common example, what you can notice for a personal brand name for a show, for a podcast, it could be something like the Tim Ferriss Show. Okay, Tim Ferriss is a huge name in the entrepreneurship niche, entrepreneurship market. You have like the top 10 podcasts in entrepreneurship. Guys like Tim Ferriss, guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, these type of people out there have created every single product around their name. So at one extent out there, it is a positive thing for them as a personal brand, but they can't put themselves out of it because they're actually stuck with that particular thing. Okay, so never, yeah, the Jay Shetty podcast, the Brandon Show, like all of those things, Tony Robbins podcast, yeah. The example that I was about to give was Tony Robbins, 100%. So that is also something out there which is super important for you guys to understand. So never create it something on your personal name or brand. So like think about Tony Robbins. Like anything that Tony Robbins have in this space is named upon his own personal brand. Now he is super successful. He have everything in place. He have all of those things comes up. But the problem over here is he can't put himself out of his misery or out of his processes to make everything work out automatically, because it's not his products, it is him who is selling everything. Okay, so for you, when you're thinking about your show name, always think about as a separate brand show name, rather than thinking about something that is personal brand, or like the Jeffrey show or the Armageddon show, or the RJ show. Like I'm going to talk about the story how actually I found the name, which was Interviews with Entrepreneurs. But yeah, like this is something out there which is super important for you to understand. So never do that. If you ever feel like emotional, I'm gonna have a podcast name on, podcast show on my name, I suggest you to resist that and don't do it. Okay, because for example, if you want to hand that over podcast, if you want to sell it over, it's gonna be super hard. Okay, so that is something out there that is super important. So for me, like when I came up with the name of Interviews with Entrepreneurs Show, so when I actually came up with the name of Interviews with Entrepreneurs Show, how I actually came up with that particular name, before I started the official show, I was like interviewing some people on the show, guys like Alex Elliott. I saw you guys. Uh, I saw show you guys that particular screenshot when I interviewed as a first interview Alex Elliott, and then I interviewed some couple other entrepreneurs as well. So during that time, I was just using this particular phrase, "Hey, welcome to interviews with entrepreneurs," and there wasn't any tagline apart from that. Where we're interviewing entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches. This was particular tagline, but nothing. I wasn't saying interviews with entrepreneurs show. So I was just talking about like I'm interviewing these entrepreneurs. So this was something out there that in particular I was talking about, and I was talking about all of those things. And for that particular extent, I was thinking about all of those things out there, and I was repeating it, repeating it, repeating it, repeating it before I did my very first official show. Or even I was starting to bothering myself, like what should be my show name. But when I saw my previous interviews that I've done, I've told this words, or like this word repeatedly, like interviews, welcome to Interviews with Entrepreneurs, or like this stuff. And I was like, okay, what if I keep my show name Interviews with Entrepreneurs? Because it is clear, it explains what my show is about. Why not do it? It's simple. And I was like, cool, let's go with this. And I booked it up. I was like, cool, it's gonna be Interviews with Entrepreneurs. That's it. Easy to understand. And there were a lot of podcast hosts actually who loved it, like John Lee Dumas. If you, like, who knows John Lee Dumas? Like, let me know in the chat who knows who John Lee Dumas is. uh JLD, he have a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire. Crazy, like he gets, I guess, a million listeners a month, like crazy. Like I got the opportunity to interview John Lee Dumas on the show. It was awesome. He's super humble guy. He actually loved the show name because it was super clear. It was super general, and everyone can understand what the show name is about and who is the particular target audience is. We're gonna explain everything out there, how you can pick up names for yourself. Jeffrey said, I don't. Search John Lee Dumas. Okay, you're gonna get to know about who he is. He was a recent Funnel Hacking Live speaker this year as well at Funnel Hacking Live. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, guys. So let's go back to the screen. Okay, cool. Okay, so that is something out there how I actually came up with the name of Interviews with Entrepreneurs, and I stuck with that. And I have other names as well. I for my personal solo cast that I have the plan to do in the future. I have the name. I got the domain as well, just because if I tell the name you don't get the domain. I have a domain called the Marketingpedia, which pedia is something out there around knowledge. Marketing is obviously marketing, so the marketing knowledge, that is going to be my solo cast podcast, you could say, that I will launch sooner. But yeah, that is something out there that I have in general out there for that as well. So this is something out there that is important. I hope it makes sense. Don't create a personal brand podcast name. Create a podcast name that is general, that could make sense, and that could not bound with your personal brand, but it is still attached to it. So let's talk about the show purpose, okay, which is important. Like once your name is clear, once you have the idea about, okay, this is something out there I'm gonna pick up, which is not relatable to that particular thing. The next thing that comes up is your show purpose, okay. So in show purpose, there are a few things which are super important for you to understand, which is like who are your dream guests, what's your main intent behind it, and let's talk about both of these things. Number one is who are your dream guests, who are your dream guests initially. So for me, and I'm giving you my example so that you could possibly relate to it, because I know there are a lot of people out there who at one point saw one of my episode bare minimum. You know, if someone haven't saw that, that's different story, because I know there are a lot of new faces as well. But at one extent, you might have saw one of my shows for sure. Okay, so for me, who are my dream guests? So my dream guests are entrepreneurs. That is my dream guests. Okay, uh, or who are making 6 7 8 figures entrepreneurs. That is my dream guest, and my main intent is who are super awesome in their niches. That is my main intent. So let's say if we talk about it in the fitness niche, we can talk about that exact same thing in a fitness niche. So what we need are two things. One is to create a show purpose, we need two things. One, who are your dream guest, and what is the show intent is. That's the two things. And we're going to create the tagline as well so that you can explain it easily when you have the show name, when you know your dream guest, and when you know the show intent. So, okay, I can see like my dream guests are life coaches, personal development people. That are your dream guests. You could possibly come up with something like I interview life coaches, personal development people, and then you can talk about that particular intent. What is the intention, or what are the type of people, or what's your main agenda of your show? Okay, or what are the type of people you attract, or what are you trying to consume from that particular people out there? Okay, so for me, let's say if I yesterday I talked about the story of Alex Hermosi. Alex Hermosi, if he's in the gym niche or is in the gym market, for me, what I could possibly go and do, he is an entrepreneur. So for me, like I interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their particular niche. Okay, so I could pick him up because he's in the gym niche, he's a fitness niche, but he's also an entrepreneur. So he have all of those mindset things into it. So I've created that particular intent and the my dream guest clear to create my show purpose. And it could be for anything. For example, if I'm a fitness show host, I interview fitness based entrepreneurs who are crushing in the fitness industry, or who are again show intent, who are disrupting the fitness industry. So now I can go in and identify those people out there, and I can talk about what my show intent is. Okay, so that is one of the main things that you guys have to understand when you're trying to create your show purpose. Okay, I hope I'm clear, and I hope you guys are as well. Okay, organic coaches, affiliate marketers who are also 5 to 6 figure online entrepreneurs. Yep, intend to help my audience live their lives at the highest level possible. Yep, 100%. That's the intent, and that is something out there that's going to be the part of your show itself as well. I'm going to break that down even more so that you can get more idea around that as well. So as Jeffrey mentioned, like organic coaches, affiliate marketers, who are also 5 to 6 figure online marketers. So what you can like do with it as well, like, hey, I interview like 5 to 6 online marketers, organic coaches, affiliate marketers who are actually dominating in their markets. So you're niche, you're nailing down all of those people out there where they are category king in their market, and you're talking about like who are dominating in their market, something like that. If you are a if you are a mindset based podcast, you could be like, hey, I'm interviewing entrepreneurs who are absolutely good in their mindsets, or who have a growth mindset, and then your main topics of your show is around mindset itself in general. So we're going to talk about like how to do interviews effectively, but this is something out there that is key for you guys to understand. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so, who are your dream guests and your main intent with it? So, this help you guys to create your show purpose. So, this is how you create your show purpose out there. So, as I mentioned for myself, I interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches, and it could be any particular niche. What I need are entrepreneurs. I could add more things to it. I can narrow down it even more. Like I interview entrepreneurs who are making multiple 7 8 or 9 figures, who are super awesome in their niches. Because now, if I'm picking any person, I know who my dream guest is, and I can filter it out by watching those people out there, even though my main intent are clear. So, so domination is an intent. Yep, domination is an intent, and let me tell you why domination is an intention. So you are picking it out, like who are those people that you want to interview? If they are entrepreneurs, out of entrepreneurs, who are those people? Obviously you don't want to interview newbie entrepreneurs. Newbie is an intention, for you, like that is an intent for you, like who, which type of people you want to get on your show. So newbie entrepreneurs to get on your show is an intention from you. So if you're talking about the dominators, it is an intention from you. So you have to be clear on the main intent that you want to have those people on your show. So that's the main thing. So I hope you guys are clear. Let's talk about the show tagline. Okay, this is something out there that is important. Today's session is not going to be like super long as it was yesterday, uh, because tomorrow is going to be like more stuff around how to do it effectively, how to reach out to your dream guest, and so many things. But this is something, yeah, entrepreneurs, like newbie entrepreneurs is an intention from your side. Obviously you don't want to have like newbie entrepreneurs like, hey, I interview organic marketers, coaches, consultants who are newbies. A newbie is an intention from your side, is a desire that you want to get on the show. That is why you change newbie to experts. Hey, I want to get those affiliate marketers, coaches, consultants who are dominating in their market. Now this is an intention from your side that, hey, this is the type of people I want to have. I want to have all of those people that they should be dominating. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now I'm gonna break down the tagline of my show so that you guys get an idea around, like, hey, how these things actually work out in that whole phrase. Okay, so the women entrepreneurs in food industry, intent, passion, and purpose. Yeah, so it could be something like, hey, I interview women, like I have a show called this, where I interview women entrepreneurs in food industry who are working on it with their passion and a purpose. Or you could be something like, hey, I interview women entrepreneurs in food industry who are doing everything in food industry with their passion and purpose. So that is something out there comes as a show tagline. Bam, now you're super clear, like what's your show name is, what it is all about, and how you can explain that to people what it is. It gets super clear. So okay, so if you know, I've already mentioned my show tagline, which is I have a show called interviews with entrepreneurs, where I interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niche. That is actually my tagline is. So if you notice the very first thing, which is my show name, okay, this is something out there that you could possibly go in and model the exact same thing, just change those things, and then it's gonna be your tagline ready. Okay, so very first thing is your show name. Like, what's your show name is? You're gonna be talking about what your show name is. It could be anything. It could be a woman-based show. It could be mindset-based show. It's gonna be any affiliate marketing-based show. It could be anything. So I have a show called Interviews with Entrepreneurs. Just plug that show name to you, where I interview. So for me, entrepreneurs is my who. Like, who is my dream guest? Entrepreneurs is my dream guest over here, and I'm talking about in general, broad over here, but I know I have already narrowed down when I start to reach out to those people, because even though if I'm saying entrepreneurs, I've already filtered which type of entrepreneurs. Okay. I hope that makes sense, guys. This is important. Even if you're talking about broadly right now, you will narrow it down even in your tagline. That could make sense. But if you're doing it broad, you would still have the idea about who are those people which are not your dream guests, and you say no to them. Okay, so where I interview entrepreneurs is my who, or who is my dream guest, who are super awesome in their niches is my main intent. I want those people, those entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches, I want to have them on my show, which is interviews with entrepreneurs. So this is initially the intention of the show, and this is how the show tagline actually works. Okay, I can say like what if I want to combine interviews with solo episodes? So okay, that's a really good question out there. So when you are doing it in such a way where there is a solo episode plus interview, can I do that? Yep, you can do that 100%. People do it all the time. But still, if you're doing it solo cast plus the podcast itself, so when you talk about the intro initially, okay, if you have a podcast, that is something different. You could have multiple show tagline if someone asks you initially, like what's your solo cast that you do in your podcast is about, plus what's your show tagline if you do an interview based show is all about. Okay, so it comes multiple things, and it becomes a podcast with solo cast and an interview based show both. Okay, so you can do both. Doesn't matter around the frequency and everything. For me personally, out there, what I usually recommend is doing it differently, just because then you have a different set of audience over there and different set of audience over there. I know, like, for some people out there it becomes hectic, but in general, what you can possibly can do it is you could do your own one single show, or you could do it differently. Okay, I'm planning to do that, calling my interview based show called Superhero Sessions. Yep, 100%. Yep, you can 100% do that. Does the name have to reflect both? Uh, what do you mean, Jeffrey? Have to reflect? Oh yeah, you just answered. Yep, 100%. So here's the thing, guys. Here's something out there that you probably have to understand. Okay, one thing you guys have to understand is you can have both things in one podcast. The name could be the same, because then it's going to be a general name. It's not particularly on the interview based show, and you can have both things even though you have a same name. Let's say if we talk about the Marketingpedia that I have, not the show, but I have the podcast plan on, which is a solo cast. I could possibly go in and do an interview based show over there as well, but the taglines gonna be different for both of those things for me to mention. To, for example, if I'm interviewing those entrepreneurs, if I'm trying to reach out to those people out there, the tagline is going to be different versus what's going to be my solo cast tagline. My solo cast tagline probably going to be like, hey, I'm going to be talking about the knowledge around marketing, sales, this. But still, my tagline for my interview stuff, when I'm trying to reach out to the potential entrepreneur, potential dream guest, it's still going to be different. So you can have one show and can do both of the things, or you could have two shows working on simultaneously. I think uh, the time frame, the time window, the things or the works you need to do is still the same, and not like huge difference. So that's the other side of the thing. So okay, yep. Okay, I get it now. Yep. I see one show, multiple tagline, one for interview based show, one for solo cast. Yep, 100%. There's gonna be different taglines, at least taglines. The intro could be the same of the show, but those taglines should be different on those particular topics. I hope that makes sense. So this is initially how the tagline, the show lines comes up. This is the exact same thing. Just screenshot this over right now. Just screenshot this over. I'm going to keep it for some seconds. Just screenshot this screen so that you can have this tagline. And what you need to do, you just go in and just change the name, just change the who, just change the main intent, and you have your tagline ready. If you want to add more things, you could 100%. You can narrow down your entrepreneurs thing to even more narrowing down, like where I interview mindset coaches, financial coaches, financial based entrepreneurs. You can narrow it down the way you want to do. Okay, you can do it in so many ways. So let me know if you have already screenshot it. I can see, like, Jeffrey, like, done, awesome. uh okay. So yeah, the next thing what we're gonna talk about after this tagline is also one of the most important things that's important for your show is your show cover art. And I want to talk about one more things out there. In any particular case of scenario, you don't need a ton of things out there in order to, uh, you know, get yourself out and up and do the podcast. I want you to guys understand one thing, which is super powerful for you to understand. I show you guys my overall my very first interview screenshot. I showed you guys, the reason why I showed you is because I wanted to show you that the way I got over here in terms of like better gadget, better mic, better camera, better lighting, or even a better face with jacket. The reason how I got it here, because I started imperfectly. I didn't made myself paralyzed because of the gadgets. Okay, I never wanted to have gadgets as a reason for not me doing publishing. Okay, that was my main goal. I was like, cool, I don't care, whatever I have, I'm going to use that, I'm going to go and publish. So that is something out there that is the reason why I was like just going forward with that. And I was like, cool, I'm not gonna wait for any gadget. Obviously, it's gonna get improved later on as time goes by. And obviously, it's been 2 years almost, so things went like pretty good in the last 2 years. So that is something that you have to understand. Never give yourself a victim mentality about like, hey, I can't do this just because, and there's a reason behind that. So that is something that you have to understand and go and implement everything. Yeah, the quality or the shining object don't matter. Yep, if you understand. And some people out there just don't do it. They're like, oh, I can't do it just because I don't have this or this or this. You have everything you need to do something at this current moment, uh, with an exceptional case. Yep. Okay. So you show cover art. So I think this just get repeated, I believe. Yep. Okay. So you show cover art out there. If you ever saw my podcast, cover art, I created that on Canva. Now I have a full-time graphic designer. I have a full-time video editor. But in the initial start, when I started, it wasn't full-time video editor out there. If you go back in the past, if you saw all of my event covers, I've created all of them on Canva. My podcast art is on Canva itself as well. You can see like this right one, this one where I'm pointing the finger and there's a top logo. That was something that I created in the past. And on the left side, this is something that's going to be the updated one. Okay, I created that on all of those things out there, and it didn't wait it for anything. Okay, okay. I must say I use my phone as a weapon. That was something that I was trying to do yesterday when my webcam wasn't working correctly. But yeah, like that's the main thing. You can't do something out there and give yourself a reason that, hey, I don't have this just because, and there's a reason for that. And you just don't do it just because there's a reason. So yeah, like for your show cover art out there, don't wait for a Photoshop. Don't wait that you want to have a Fiverr guy out there and he can get your things done. Doesn't matter the dimensions. For example, if you're creating it for Facebook, have your Facebook dimensions up and running. Create your podcast stuff. Have your logo ready up. Everything I've created in terms of logo, graphics, everything you see guys in the past right now, there are some things that I've done on my own using tools like Canva. And Canva is free. So there's nothing out there that you can possibly go in and pay the money and like, oh, I have to invest on that stuff as well just to make those things work out. There's nothing. Canva is absolutely free. Just go to Canva, create all of your podcast cover art, especially for Facebook, especially for the general podcast like Spotify, iTunes, like Apple Podcasts, all of those things. So all of those things gonna be get done by that particular way. So create your show cover art. If I'm going strong, yep, 100%. So that's the main thing. Okay, so that's going to be the day 2 for the homework initially. As I mentioned, today's session was not going to be like super long because this is something out there that is important, but it's not super, super complicated. And I know you guys can do that. So the day 2 homework today, I'm going to post that up as soon as I end this day 2 for today, is going to be create your show name. Think about and finalize your interview based show name. Clear that what your show is about. Okay, like what's the main purpose of your show, and create your final tagline. That this is going to be a final tagline that's going to use. And again, I want you to be imperfect. Just do it. You can later on optimize that 100%. Don't be like, this is going to be my final one. But what my main intention was like, just create one. Just make it up. You can tweak it later on, and create your show covers. Just go and do it. Use Canva. You don't need any other tool. You don't need Photoshop. You don't need a graphic designer. You don't need to pay someone even $5 right now at least to get those things done. Okay. So these are all of the things which are going to be your homework, which are the things you have to do to get everything done. So that's end of day 2. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat, and we could possibly go and talk about it. Okay. Let me see. Sugar. Okay, I can see like some people right now jumping on. Hey, Bruce, thank you so much. You have to go in and check out this all of these things in a replay. We have talked about a lot of things that you can go in and implement in today's homework. So let me know in the comment section if you guys have any other question. Just make sure to get all of these things done by the next tomorrow challenge, because tomorrow we're going to talk about how to create your interview script and how you have to reach out to your potential dream guest. Okay, that's the third thing. So obviously, I'm super open for suggestions in terms of if you're thinking about like, okay, is this gonna be my name or this gonna be my name? Just post it in the group, ask other people's help, see what their viewpoint is, and finalize your name, finalize your podcast show, cover art, finalize your tagline. So like post it in the group, interact with all of those people out there. I'm gonna give you my idea. Other people gonna give you their responses out there. Like have all of those things up and running and done. So everyone gonna be there. Everyone gonna be helping each other out. That's accountability is all about. everyone is giving you their opinion, and that is something that you could possibly do in order to get those things done faster. I have an interview script, but looking to refine it, taking it to the next level. 100%. That's the main thing. I'm gonna talk about deep dive more into it, and like how to use it. That's the other part of the story, like how to actually use it. What's tagline? I was late to the live. So actually, tagline is how you talk about what your show is all about. So just make sure to watch that on replay. You're gonna get an idea. Okay, I'm an interview. Okay, tagline. I've been planning the name and brand for my show. Just ask for suggestion in the group. Just post it after this when I post the homework. Do react, do interact with each other out there. It's gonna be super helpful. Which platform is suggested for interviews? A group, YouTube page, and other places. So what I usually recommend is repurpose it in at least 3 to 4 platforms. Uh, YouTube, uh, your podcast platform, 100%, your Facebook profile, and your Facebook group. If you have a plan for growing your Facebook group, then do the Facebook group. If not, then obviously do on your Facebook profile. Then, but still choose these 3 places. Then your podcasting platform, it's gonna be repurposed over there. On YouTube, don't do it live. It's just like publish it later on. But on Facebook, do it live. Okay. If you are like not comfortable in doing live, you could do pre-recorded. But for me, the reason I want it doing live is because people feel the transparency. The people see, outside of those comfort zone or outside of those screens, how people, let's say guys like Steve Larson, like how he's all the way down, crushing it in the space, talking different stuff, seeing it even more raw than how he is something people love a lot. He was in his office last time when he was in his office last time when he was like got on our show, which was crazy, and he was talking about, he was showing us his office, his backstage, and everything. I've seen people do it on Instagram as well. Yep, you can do it on Instagram if you have a following. You can grow your show on Instagram as well, 100%. So what you could possibly do that is you could do simultaneously if you want to. Okay, you could do it Facebook and on Instagram both, but it's all about like which is the platform that you want to grow for. Multiple platforms. The reason why I suggest doing on Facebook or like these type of platform is because the interface, how it looks, it's easy to repurpose, especially on YouTube. Obviously, for audio, it's not something a huge problem, but still, if you do it on Facebook, it's something that is helping you out to repurpose it. Repurposing is power, it's crazy. So repurpose it to YouTube and also get the traffic from there as well. So if you know, I've interviewed Law Payne, he made over $150 million in sales. So when I repurposed his mini clip, that Insta clip out there, I sent him over. He posted it on his Instagram profile, and he have over 3 million followers on his Instagram, which is crazy. Okay, can we use these interviews to grow an audience? Like who said that? Okay, yep, 100%. That's how I built an audience. Okay, that's how I built an audience in the last 1.5 years. Just think about it. So I think you get your answer. I think because of the audience to consume content on Instagram, yep, 100%. And that's the main thing, because their audience love to consume content, and they just don't repurpose it in that particular format. Most likely, that's also the other reason why they always do it. Or if they want to do it, they kind of like, if they want to repurpose it on a platform like YouTube, they actually edit it out in such format where it looks visible like that particular format. Okay. Okay, purpose. That's the purpose of this interview for me. Yep, 100%. That's the main thing. That's why I do interviews. I get the reason why do interviews is because I get the chance to talk with those dream guests, my dream 100, my dream influencers. That's the first thing. Second thing, I able to build relations with them, and third thing, I get the opportunity to leverage their audience as well. So today, probably 1 hour from now, we are interviewing Peter Peru on the show, and Peter Peru have created like multiple seven-figure businesses, not only in e-com but also in different niches as well. So, like, think about it. I've created an event. Peter Peru shared his on his stories, on his profile. I got some people who joined my Facebook group as well. It became the part of my audience, sent me friend requests. That's how you get to traffic, you know, straight away. So that is something out there that you have. That you have to think about. Okay, I believe audience. Thanks. It says anywhere you feel good. Awesome. How to collect infos on the guest. Hey, I mean, like how to collect infos on the guest. Like, what do you mean? If you be more clear, let me know in the comment section. Like how to collect infos on the guest. What are you talking about? Uh, Okay, how's your show monetized? Hey Dixon, that is something out there. Obviously, I'm going to talk about in the challenge how my show is monetized. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. We have the rest 3 days as well, so we're going to talk about all of the other things out there as well, step by step by step. I want you guys to take actions one step at a time. That is something that's important. Okay, like the how we get the infos, like their story. Okay, I got your point. That is also something we're gonna probably gonna talk about on the day fourth of the challenge, like how to do effective interviews. Then I'm gonna talk about how to get the infos in such a way where they're gonna be like, dude, what? Like how you know all of these things? So that's something out there. It's important. Like things are simple. Most people just don't do it. That's the main thing. And some people who do it or like who have already done it, they have the leverage. That is something out there that people just don't understand. That is why there are less podcast hosts, more listeners, less podcast hosts, less people who have more connections in that particular space, leveraging the podcast, leveraging the show, and everything. So I'm going to talk about all of these things. I'm going to talk about the monetization. I'm going to talk about the story, like how to do research, how to do effective interviews. I've created the frameworks around that, which I've also taught in ClickFunnels events, like alongside Pen June, and also in multiple different courses, the programs as well. I got the opportunity to talk about those things out there in the future in inner circles as well. Some of the awesome inner circles. It's not Russell Brunson one, but yeah, there are some inner circles as well. So yeah, okay, these things are simple. People just don't do it. Awesome, bro. Awesome, which is crazy. Okay, guys, I hope it helps. Let me know if you guys have any other question apart from that. Also, like, don't forget, you guys, if you guys implement all of those things out there, like invite your friends, invite your peeps out there, fam, in this particular group for this challenge, and also implement all of those homeworks out there. And I do all of those implementation. If you've already done your first live, you're gonna get the chance to get also the scholarship of my signature program. One person is gonna get the chance of it. To get the access of my signature program, which is gonna be like high ticket show accelerator. So be sure to do everything, and also like be sure to tag me on Facebook or Instagram out there, like how you guys love it, or like let other people know about that as well. I saw like Fatma actually did that yesterday, which was awesome. There were a lot of people out there who later on joined the group and the challenge itself as well. So like be sure to take pictures out there. Be sure to tag me. I would love to reshare that as well. And if you guys have any questions, you can post it up later on. Tomorrow is gonna be an awesome day. We're gonna talk about interview script and how to reach out to your dream guest on the show. So I hope that makes sense, and I will definitely gonna see you guys in the next challenge tomorrow. Until then, bye bye.